Hi there, Professor Linton. Welcome to my microteaching lesson. This video is going to be structured a little bit differently than what was in the guidelines. If you haven't read my email that I sent to you on Sunday when this was due, let me just explain real quickly. When I was coming together, like putting this lesson together over the week, I was planning on having it be a live lesson that I recorded with two people. And the structure of the lesson was very much dependent on working with those two people because it was going to be a write up, like a free write. What ended up happening is the last couple days have been extremely busy. My sister moved up to Humboldt just yesterday, and our house was kind of in chaos, and we are doing a lot of like getting her ready for that move. So I didn't really have time to actually follow through with the live lesson until today, Sunday. And what ended up happening was I contacted the people I was trying to work with. One of them was a native Spanish speaker that I wanted to integrate into the lesson, and extraneous circumstances, something that happened today, made it so that they could not work with me. So I kind of had to cobble this all together last minute and get something going. So the structure of this video is going to basically be me talking about what I was planning on doing, showing you the resources I was going to use for this, and then just kind of talking about my general pedagogy. I do want to actually do the lesson, so if you will accept me turning in this video to show you what I plan to do, and then turning in another video a couple days from now after recording the live lesson and having that be where I get the full credit. I'd really appreciate that. Of course, you can email me at any time. I'm happy to work with you. If I just have to turn this in and take a half credit, I'm fine with that as well. I'm sure that we will discuss that at a later time. But the clock's ticking down, so I want to jump into what I got together here. So primarily my pedagogy going into my history class that I want to teach is that I want to integrate a lot of the aspects of writing across curriculum. I find that history is probably one of the best classes to do writing across curriculum in. It's a lot more straightforward than math or science, which can be a little trickier on how to integrate those concepts of doing write ups and practicing sentence structure, paragraph structure, argumentation, all that kind of stuff. And in order to do this, I wanted to structure a lesson that not only got kids to practice their like starting sentence structure on how to like start off a paragraph to like creating a hook, but also practice their argumentation skills. And along this lines, I wanted to include a topic that was felt topical and relevant to today. So what I ended up thinking of was talking about Latino servicemen and Latino citizens during the era of World War II, because it's a very fascinating and kind of not so much talked about part of our history that these communities played an integral role both on the social and the service aspect of our country at this time. And I wanted to do this so students could like get a mirror to look in about the issues that the Latino community is facing today with deportations, ICE raids, general just racism and distrust in our society, and draw some parallels and think about how much has changed in 80 years, in the 80 years it's been since World War II. So I found two documents for this assignment. In a normal class setting, I would have found these documents with the students and the entire time been going through with them to talk about how we know these documents are valid. For this particular document, we can see that this is sourced from an official website of the United States government, and that would actually be the National Park Service. So we know this is a very trustworthy body to get this information from. This is very official. We know this has been recorded from trusted sources. And the second document I found to supplement this is a document going through some information about the Zoot Suit riots of 1943. And I felt that this was a necessary one to include with this document about service members and the racism they faced when they got home, because it talks about something that was happening while they were away. A very contemporary an issue that talks about something cultural with the Latino community butting up against the American norms that caused a conflagration of conflict that students can sink their teeth into. And combining both of these documents, I wanted students to do just a little write up, right? I wasn't looking for anything super complicated here, just 5 to 7 sentences where they're kind of riffing off the ideas that they have. And the sourcing for them, I would not be stressing super hard on them doing really hard line, like to the textbook citations with like parentheticals and all that stuff. Because these are two documents that we would have found in class and they wouldn't be able to use anything else. I know which one they were referencing simply by them saying, in this document, I heard about this, etc., so on. In general, I would be practicing with the kids. How to properly cite documents in either MLA or Chicago Turabian, which is the style I prefer, but I know that it's kind of a toss up. Some kids prefer it one way, some kids prefer it another. And that would be mainly practiced in big, like 5 paragraph essay assignments that would constitute end of semester assignments that we would do. And in this, write up, students would be answering the questions that I asked earlier. How are the situations that Latinos faced during World War II, both at home and on the battlefield, or when they got home from the battlefield? How are they comparable to what they face today in America? Um, and I specifically wanted them to reference the issue of the Zoot Suiters because that kind of conflict, that cultural conflict coming into the like American consciousness as a conflagration of a community against authority is very similar to what's happening with the riot. I'm sorry, not the riots. The protests that are happening right now across the country against ICE and the Trump administration. Um, to help students with this, I included 2 different types of sentence structure helpers. One of them is this top one is for helping them get started, get their paragraph started. I know a lot of students struggle to put that first sentence down. I know that for me as well, even as a college student, sometimes that first sentence is always the devil I need to get past before everything else kind of falls into place. So I wanted to give students a chance to see how some sentence starters would be structured in a way where it includes relevant information from what they were taught, from what they were reading about, and then gives them a springboard to go from there. So you can see that I all of these have endings where students can use the whole sentence, but then they have to add in their own thoughts after that. And on the second one, it's the similar kind of idea, but instead of for paragraph starters, it's for body paragraph sentences because I know sometimes students who struggle more with writing, one of the big things is how do I take something I learned from a document that I need to cite in some way, shape, or form and integrate my own thoughts into that. So I just wanted to give them some ideas on how to write sentences where they get an idea of how to reference the article that they're reading, reference the exact piece of information that they find important, and then lead into their own thoughts about it. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to integrate a native Spanish speaker into this assignment, and the whole time I was taking into consideration what I would do with emergent bilinguals. Um, for this case, I wanted to take this exact same document and translate it into Spanish. And the way I would embrace this with my students is that I would have this document in Spanish, but there's a little clause here that tells the students that, hey, I want you to write this as much of this write up as you can in English. But whenever you encounter a word or phrase that you don't know how to translate exactly into English, just put it in Spanish and then we'll translate it later. Because my focus here is them getting their thoughts fully on paper because we can digest it later. I don't want them feeling like they can only do half of the assignment because they keep getting stuck on translations. And then in the same vein, all the directions here are in Spanish, including the titles, except for my sentence starters, which are in English, showing students, my emergent bilinguals, how to put their English sentences together to be, again, in the same way that I'm helping my native English speakers, showing them how to structure their arguments, how to structure their beginning sentences to make sure that they fit the standards that we typically teach in English. And all of this I was putting together in hopes that it would be an integrative experience, get students to write about their experiences. And then I have about 10 seconds later, and I would say that right at the end of this experience, I'd have them do a little discussion with each other where they talked about what they wrote about. Thank you for tuning in.